Well, he got found guilty of 3 felonies: possession of the gun, discharging the gun with gross negligence, and then assault with the gun that created great bodily injury (GBI), and then 2 gun enhancements.
Mm-hmm.
All of those can be ran concurrently if the judge deems so. So the max of any of those, the 3 felonies and the 2 gun enhancements, the max is 4 years is the max on assault with GBI.
Mm-hmm.
So he can get 4 years and everything run concurrently. And I think that might be a sentence that both sides would be happy with, the defense and the prosecution.
I don't know. I don't know if the prosecution would be happy with that. In fact, I don't know if the judge would be happy with that. I'm gonna tell you what I think it's gonna come down to in the back of the judge mind. Dance, bitch. You know what I mean? That's gonna be a factor. That you had malice. You had you was clowning. You was on some other shit when you did that. You know what I mean? You wasn't crying and closed your eyes and just squeezed the trigger out of hurt or something like that. Dance, bitch. Okay, they gonna take that into consideration in the back of their head. And just like you know, Eric Holder got 6-0. You know what I mean? This judge might come back. I mean, okay, this dude gonna dance in prison. You know what I mean? And so I think he may get a little more than that, but I don't think he warrants a little more than that. But you're still talking about man shooting at somebody, in California. So we gonna see.
Well, that dance bitch quote that you just mentioned, that only comes from one person. That comes from Megan herself. Kelsey says she didn't recall hearing that, and neither did the witness that lived on the street. So a lot of people kind of just disregarded that statement, but that doesn't mean the judge disregarded it, right?
Damn right it don't, because remember that stuck in my head. You know what I mean? And because what people don't understand is, when they hear some of this evidence, a lot of things is intent. How much malice was involved when you committed this crime? You know what I mean? If you run up in the bank crying and saying, my son got liver cancer and it's the only reason I'm robbing this bank, and you run out with the money and you get caught, best believe, you're gonna still get some time, but damn, this dude's son had cancer. He needed some money for this. But you go up in there and just be like, I need stripper money, bitch. You know what I mean? Give me the money. All these things is took into consideration, when people are getting sentenced. You know what I mean? People think they don't, but they really do. Somebody was to do something to you or me. We not gonna not remember the words that was said. You know what I mean? You're going to remember the malice that they had, the way they treated you, the whole nine. And it's going to make you feel a certain different way if somebody rob you and say one thing opposed to robbing you saying, bro, the only reason I'm robbing because I'm hungry. My kid's hungry. That's the only reason I'm robbing, opposed to just, you know what I mean? So it ain't no different in these courtrooms, man. So I'm going to see how this judge, if he going to stick by the rules and, go by the time guidelines that they got in these cases, and see what kind of time he come out with. But if he come out with 4, he did all right. He did good if he come out with 4.
Now, we got a comment here that says that Tory did not say dance bitch. Both witnesses testified that he never said that. And let me just clarify, just because Kelsey didn't hear it and just because Sean Kelly didn't hear it doesn't mean it wasn't said. Megan testified that that's what was said. So
right. And
we don't really know the truth, but you can't say you can't say Tory didn't say it. You could just say, I don't believe Tory said it, but we don't know. We don't know if it was really said.
Well, the thing I'm going to tell Relly Sunshine is I appreciate the comment. I wasn't there. I can only go by what Megan say he said. You know what I mean? And she said that in open court. And correct. the judge and them heard her say that in open court. And she could have been lying. You know what I mean? But once you say something in open court, I mean, that just by them saying it can stick in the mind because it's stuck in my mind. You know what I mean? So sometimes that somebody can blurt out something. It could just not be true, but that don't mean a juror or prosecutor or somebody else won't believe it. But I appreciate you saying that. I appreciate the comment, really.
And one of the reasons why it wouldn't be on audio is because the audio that was presented in court was from a camera that was shooting on the inside of a house, and the inside of the house picked up the gunshots, but couldn't pick up any of the conversation that was going on. If you enhance the audio of the gunshots, you can hear people screaming, yelling, saying something, but you can't make it out. So whatever said on the audio, we don't know, but you could definitely hear 5 gunshots on the audio.
Okay,
So
no doubt.
yeah. You know, a lot of people are very this case has divided people. I mean, even in spite of all the evidence, there are still people that says Tory Lanez is innocent, even though 3 people put the gun in his hand.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have that. You know what I mean? You know, like I said, still people to believe they think the other girl, what was her name? Some
Kelsey.
people still yeah,
Kelsey.
some people still believe Kelsey shot the gun. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I'm always an advocate for saying this. I still don't think we 100% know the truth just because everybody testified on what they testified to. You know what I mean? I've seen a lot of trials, man, to go by. I've seen a lot of convictions, and they never still got the 100% truth. It was always some shit left out. It was always some shit wasn't said. It was also always some shit wasn't done. You know, so at the end of the day, man, you know, like I say, I'm not for the people who don't believe he's guilty. I can't say nothing to him. You know what I mean? Because like I say, we wasn't there. We really don't know. All I'm saying is he was convicted of it. At the end of the day, that's what we can go by. And I'm saying I hope he get that less than 4, that 4 or less. You know, I don't think he deserved more than that. You know what I mean? Just to be honest with you.
Well, in this situation, we know for a fact that somebody in that SUV shot the gun, and you only have 3 choices to pick from: Jaquan, the driver, Kelsey Harris, the friend, or Tory Lanez. Jaquan is excluded. No GSR in his hand. He's excluded. Now you have 2 people left: Kelsey Harris, Tory Lanez. And if you look at all the evidence that was presented in this trial, it all points to Tory Lanez. And trust me, I'm pro defense. I work on post conviction cases where I try to assist in getting people out of jail. So it bothers me to say that Tory Lanez is guilty, but that's what all the evidence points to. I mean,
right.
There's no way around it, you know.
Well, the evidence also points toward too that those were real bullet fragments in her foot. You know what I mean? And if that's the case, he did shoot her. You know what I mean? That's what getting shot is. Whether they fragments, whether the whole bullet go through, any piece of a fragment hit you after somebody shoot a gun towards you or at you, you know, you've been shot. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, you know, to shoot somebody is what he was found guilty of. So to shoot somebody and get 4 years or 5 years, not saying that he was going to get. So if he did get more, he shot somebody, Alex, or that's what he was convicted of. You know what I mean? So, you know, this California, man, you know what I mean? And they give a motherfuckers time for shooting people. You know what I mean? Even if he didn't do it, he's been convicted of it. He wouldn't be the first dude who was convicted of some shit they didn't do. You know what I mean? He's going to get the time for it. You know what I mean? So like I say, you know, they had overwhelming evidence in their favor saying that this is what we going to do. And that's what they did. June 13th, which is a date that I'll never forget. You know what I mean? I was sentenced on that same day. So we gonna see what he come out with. And I just don't believe under all the evidence and circumstances of what happened that he deserved to get stretched out.
Oh, I 100% agree. I don't believe that this is an offense that someone should get sentenced to significant numbers of years in prison. I know that some people think that the minimum is 9 years, that he's going to get at least 9 because the prosecutor said the minimum was 9. But what people don't understand, the minimum is 9 when you add everything up. That's assuming that everything is run consecutively. The judge has the discretion to run things concurrently.
No doubt.
So it doesn't have to be 9 years. He could run, he can get the max on all 3 of those cases. That would be 4 years, 3 years, 3 years. That's the max on those 3 felonies.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 10 years, right? Yeah, 4, 3, and 3. So he could easily get the max on that. That's 10 years. But he also has 2 gun enhancements. So the gun enhancement could run concurrent to the 4, 3, and 3, or he can get the minimum on these 3 felonies, which I doubt he's going to get, right?
Mm-hmm.
The judge will most likely not give him the minimum. The minimum on these is like 2 years each. But let's say he does get the minimum, 2, 4, 6, runs that consecutively. That's 6 years, and then he runs the gun enhancements, concurrent, he could end up with 6. So I was doing the math on this, FG. There's
Right.
literally he could end up with anything from
Yeah,
4
yeah.
years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, or 20 years. But he
Yeah.
can get anything from 4 to 20 years. Where do you think the judge is going to go on this?
Like I say, man, it's California. They don't play with them guns. They don't play with them gun laws, man. But being that he is a celebrity, being that they were very intoxicated, being all the circumstances that happened that night, they may take all that into consideration. I just can't say, me personally, I think they gonna hit him with about 6-7 years. Me personally, I think they gonna give him 6-7 years. I'm gonna go with 7 years. Like I say, to me, that's too much. But I mean, I've been in California all my life, been in these court systems, and when you discharge a firearm, man, they take it serious. So I'm gonna go with 7.
Now, let me ask you this. He's got a great attorney, Jose Baez, the guy that defended Aaron Hernandez, the NFL player. He got him acquitted of a couple murders. I don't know if it was 1 or 2 murders he got him acquitted of. He defended Casey Anthony, got her acquitted of killing her daughter, allegedly. This guy, Jose Baez, is going to come to court on June 13th, and he is going to present an argument that Tory Lanez has never been in trouble before. He has never been to prison. He has no felony convictions. He is a father. He is the primary source of income for his family. He is going to go through a litany of reasons why the judge should not stretch him out. And I know for a fact his argument is going to be compelling. Do you think that will have any impact on the judge, because this is a high profile case?
Well, that's the problem. It's a high profile case. I believe dude is a great attorney. You see, he got Casey Anthony still on the street, partying and shit. You know what I mean? While our baby did. So at the end of the day, man, he's definitely going to shut it down in that courtroom. But at the end of the day, the judge is under a microscope himself. He's under the spotlight himself, and at the same time, he's going to set precedent that I don't give a fuck who you is. You can't come to California with that bullshit and act this way in these neighborhoods. You wasn't in Watts. You wasn't in Compton. You know what I mean? You was somewhere where the rich folks stay at. You know what I mean? Doing this shit. You know what I mean? They gonna take all that into consideration. If they was on El Segundo and Avalon, it probably wouldn't be a problem. You know what I mean? But when you bring this shit to the upper class where people pay all these money for these taxes and these $1 million homes and you pull this shit, it do make a difference. So I believe that he going to put the most compelling case down, but I do believe the judge is going to, make sure that he stands firm as well, just based on he don't want to be known as the soft ass judge himself. So, but like I say, I'm hoping for the 4, you know what I mean? But I'm going to say 7, if I had to put a number on it.
Well, let's go back to the Eric Holder case. The sentencing was just a couple months ago. John McKinney, he asked that judge, I want 60 years, which was, I felt like that was just significant amount of years to request. And the judge gave him the 60 years. And some people think it has to do with because he's from 60s. There's a little message he's sending there. But the prosecutor in this case, he seems like he's an understanding person. So I don't know if the prosecution is going to say, look, Your Honor, this was a serious offense. He was using a gun. I was listening to Streets and Scholars the other day, and FG said that when you use a gun, that's a serious offense, Your Honor. And I am asking this court to give him 15 years. I could see the prosecutor actually doing that.
No doubt, but at the same time, man, this judge been paying attention to everything, man. This what he do for a living, man. You know what I mean? Like I say they don't play in California, but also in California, they not a stranger to these kind of cases coming through. They not a stranger to understanding that celebrities do stuff sometimes that's, out of their character. You know what I mean? They realize that this dude's never been in trouble. He's not a felon, and things of that nature. They're going to take all that into consideration. But, according to trial, he shot a woman. So that's going to carry more weight than anything. They're not going to say it was a piece of fragment. They're not going to say, he shot at the ground. At the end of the day, he got to say he shot a woman, and I got to sentence this dude for basically shooting a woman. And to even walk out with 7 on shooting somebody nowadays in California, is decent.
Yeah. I want to get to this point, this comment right here. Do people know that Megan initiated the whole ordeal that right? And I will agree 100%. I actually agreed on another podcast, and I got accused of victim blaming because in this case, Megan is the victim, but also in this case, Megan started the whole thing. But unfortunately, the law does not. The law doesn't care if you started a conflict, if you started an argument. If someone pulls out a gun and shoots, it doesn't matter what the victim did. But I 100% agree. Megan should have left Kylie's house like instructed to. The security should have took her home, and she should have never returned. If she would have never returned, Tory wouldn't be in this situation. But she returned. She returned with aggression. She returned turned up, and then the whole night went left after she returned.
No doubt, but you already know, Alex, that it don't matter who initiated it, don't matter who provoked it, it don't matter who swung first. It's always going to be the person that retaliates that's going to get caught. You know, that's everywhere. You know what I mean? You look at the NFL when something happened, it's always the dude who hit back to get penalized, you know, and this ain't no different from the streets, you know. At the end of the day, you got a million people out there that's also saying just because she started it, I don't care if she slapped him and spit on it. Did she deserve to get shot? You know, that's what, you know, average American people are going to say. I believe we are siding with Tory Lanez, you know what I mean? Just based on, you know, the evidence showed that, you know, he, you know, probably didn't know what he was doing and all that. But at the end of the day, the conviction came with he shot somebody, and they gonna take that seriously into consideration, man. She had attorneys too, you know, and her attorney's gonna get up and say some shit or was in the prosecutor ear, you know what I mean? That, you know, I know you guys are not gonna let this just ride out like this. I know you guys are not gonna just let this guy get away with, you know, shooting my victim. You know, they gonna have their shit to say too. So that's why I say, man, you know, I don't think he gonna come out with 4. You know what I mean? That would be nice, you know, just based on, I know he didn't intentionally mean to do it. You know, I believe in forgiveness as for somebody who messed up at the time. He fucked up. You know what I mean? They was drinking, they was drunk. You know, they had a love triangle going on. It was a whole lot of shit going on. Yeah. But at the end of the day, bro, you know, you discharged a firearm in California in these white folks' neighborhood. They gonna make you answer for that.
I know that Jose Baez is going to argue for the minimum sentence on this, and I think he's going to present a very compelling argument that I would probably. I always want to give the minimum sentence when there's no harm, no foul. When I mean no harm, no foul, no one is dead. Yeah, she got shot in her foot. She's not going to have permanent damage in her foot, so that's a good thing. Her foot is going to make 100% recovery. Probably already made.
Yeah, she already back shaking her booty.
Yeah, the doctor already testified that there was no nerve damage and that she should recover. So something like this, I do not believe it warrants 10 years. More than 10, not even 10 years is too much to me. I think the minimum, I mean, that's why they have the minimum sentences. They have a minimum, a medium, and a max. And they have these 3 sentences for each of these 3 felonies to look at the circumstances of the case. Does this case really warrant a maximum sentence or a minimum? Why does the state even offer a minimum if the judge is not going to consider a minimum? Why is the minimum there, FG?
No, I mean, it's great that the minimum there because of certain circumstances, you know, they do give people the minimum. No doubt, all the time. You know, it ain't always us. You know what I mean? You know, it's people that we don't ever see on TV behind closed doors, you know, walking out of courtrooms in this same situation with probation, you know, or like you say, the 2 years, we going to give you the 2 years and run everything concurrent with the 2 years. You know what I mean? It's happening all the time. But this case was nationwide, you know, California, gun was involved, a person was shot. They're not going to make it seem like they soft on crime. So the next dude can get up there and say, well, shit, man, I only shot her in the foot. Tory Lanez only got this. Why can't I get that? You know, so like I say, I don't believe he should get it, but I do believe 7 is coming his way.